Deportiva y con swing.
Deportiva y con swing.
La factoría del deporte desde New York para ti. Es una máquina.
Es una máquina
Pensada para ti.
pensada para ti. Número uno en las redes, dale like y compartir.
Con informaciones importantes siempre frescas.
Y con entrevistas que te ponen de cabeza.
Lo mejor del deporte lo encontrarás aquí.
Búscale en las redes, dale like y compartir.
Suscríbete,
Ahí sí,
infórmate.
ok. Dale a la campana para que te llegue.
Bruce.
Chris, good to see you. Good to see anything baseball wise. So thanks for being there. Can you describe your first day with your guys there and give us a little idea who has been invited to this camp?
Sure. I mean, first day of camp is always an exciting time. You look forward to seeing players and staff that perhaps you haven't seen in a while. We have had a lot of players, working out here at our facility. We operate with an open facility policy. So we welcome players in there, and we've got staff that have been working hard this off season. And with the official start today, we've got additional staff that have come in, and now we've got players that have increased the size of the workouts here. But today was a good day. Was able to meet with the players. We had a staff meeting yesterday. We were able to have a productive workout, and feel pretty good about things. The makeup of the camp, it's a mix of some, upper level players that usually would be perhaps backing up major league games or even participating in major league camp. And then we have some young prospects, whether it be newly drafted, newly signed international players that are here. So it's an opportunity for some of our older players to mix in with our younger players. There's always a leadership component to that with our staff members here. So day one is pretty much in the books here, and I would say it was a successful one.
With the idea, you can't speak much about anything negotiations wise. We understand that, but is there a thought of readiness for minor leaguers, especially some of the guys that are in camp trying to make the team, to try to get them ready in case there is a settlement and games need to be played pretty quickly?
Well, I think the real focus is, the beginning of April, beginning of whether it be a minor league season or major league season. This certainly is a very important time, regardless of what camp or when your first game really is. Certainly on the pitching side, that you need to have a proper build up to pitch in a competitive environment, like whether it be an inter squad or an exhibition game. But these guys are hungry to prepare for their seasons. You always need to monitor whether it be workload or intensity when you're in February. You don't want to get ahead of yourselves. You can get pretty excited. But you can kind of get ahead of themselves, and one of the primary focuses of our staff is to pace this appropriately for our players so they can get out and have productive and healthy seasons.
Next question comes from Scott Merkin. Go ahead, Scott.
Hey, Chris, how's it going?
Good, Mark.
Wanted to ask you about a specific player, your top pick last year, Colson Montgomery. I know you've talked to us a little bit about him, but what's just struck you about his talent, his makeup since he's, come to the organization?
Yeah, Colson's he's a gifted athlete. He's and it's well documented, his focus on both basketball and baseball, and now it's going to be certainly primarily baseball. The more I'm around, Colson, the more impressed I am with his presence, his confidence, and that's off the field, but certainly how he carries himself on the field. He's always under control. There is no panic. When you draft shortstops or up the middle type players, you're looking for certain qualities, and I feel like Colson has that. You know, we know that the amount of baseball he's played might be a little bit less than some other players that come into our system, but Colson is pretty polished. He really is, and I noticed that, and our scouts did as well when he was an amateur. But you know, on the professional side and what he accomplished last season in Arizona and being around him in various mini camps, this guy, although he perhaps hasn't played as much as other people, I feel like he's going to catch up quickly and accelerate, and look forward to what 2022 season holds for him. But Colson's got he's got a sweet swing. He stays through the baseball. He's under the control in the box, which is not surprising just based on, you know, his temperament in general. Uses the whole field, and then on the defensive side, you know, he's a bigger guy. You don't see too many guys with his size at the shortstop position nowadays. But there are examples. So there's guys historically, and we believe based on, you know, his foot speed, his ability to use or see the field, and the strong arm that he has, that he's going to be able to be a shortstop in this game for a long time.
Next question comes from Lamont Pope. Go ahead, Lamont.
Hey, Chris. Notice that Cespedes is one of those guys that's at the camp as well. Just what's that next step in his progress as well?
You know, Cespe, unfortunately got a little bit of a late start to the season last year due to visa issues, and we sent him to Winston-Salem, did very well, and got him a taste of AA, and he was fairly productive there too. So Cespe, you know, nothing's really changed in regards to our excitement for what he's able to do. He's got solid tools across. In regards to some adjustments that he needs to make, you know, I'd say it's really being under control in the box, being more selective. There's certain types of pitches right now that he tends to want to chase and even miss, where we need to kind of tighten that focus a little bit, keep him under control. But based on, you know, the work that he puts in and the conversations we have on a daily basis, I think he's going to be able to kind of close those gaps and make the proper adjustments for future success.
Next question comes from James Fegan. Go ahead, James.
Hey, Chris. Long time. I think at this point, at least to my knowledge, the White Sox is still the only team that publicly that is known to have the vaccine requirement for players. Just how has that kind of gone over? What types of questions or have you had to answer, or is it something that's met with resistance, or how has it kind of been received?
You know, it's you know, last year, you know, we've been very consistent on this, going into the 2021 season, and now we're obviously in spring training in 2022. We made a decision as an organization that this was something that we felt was best for the organization, for the health and safety of our staff and our players, and also just to be productive and not have distractions and miss time. And based on certainly the restrictions that are in place, to just be able to go out there and focus on playing baseball. Once I was able to convey that message to both players and staff, it really hasn't been much of a conversation. It really hasn't. Every player that was invited to this mini camp, first day on the field, everyone is here. And we look forward to day two, but it really hasn't been, we haven't had too many conversations beyond the initial when we notified everyone, and we feel very good about the decision we made, and the players and staff understand why we did it.
You guys, I think in the statement announced 100% compliance last year. Has that continued to this season?
So far, you know, this is the first camp. You know, you get your invitations out and you tackle kind of your first wave of players, and then we'll have full regular camp players coming in, which will be the full camp. And I guess I can answer that question a little bit more clearly once everyone is here. But at this point, you know, we're certainly headed in that direction.
And to jump off of Bruce's question, do you have to prepare at all for a AAA roster in case there aren't 40-man players available when the season starts? Is that something you at least have to, kind of have an idea of how you would shape or how you'd feel the team in Charlotte if you don't have, usually a roster that's like about half 40-man guys?
Yeah, I mean, you're always looking to have enough depth going into spring training because various things can happen. We're given based on MLB rules, you've got the 190 players for the off season and 180 domestically for in season, and you want to take advantage of certainly those roster spots and signing players to fill up that roster to put together the best teams that we can, and puts us in a position to make adjustments in the future if need be.
Next question comes from Bruce. Go ahead, Bruce.
Chris, can you tell us if the major league if Tony and the coaches are in camp, and also jumping off of that, is the mood extra high, and are people more more excited about being there because of this off season that baseball's had to deal with?
We do have Tony's here and our major league staff, and there's certainly a nice opportunity to get our major league staff with our minor league staff, and just quality exposure for our minor league players that perhaps aren't able to work with staff members that perhaps wouldn't be at this mini camp. Tony's done such a great job of approaching this, and not only the major league manager, but really wanted to make an impact throughout the organization. He takes the time to get to know players, whether that player's got a chance to play the big leagues this year. It's just his passion for teaching and his passion for this organization, and that extends to our major league staff. We're all in this together, regardless of what titles are or positions that we're in throughout the organization. If anything, I think, just getting out here and playing baseball, you always get anxious to get out to spring training, to your spring training site here in Arizona and get things rolling. People that are in this game in non-playing form in these coaching roles, regardless of who they're teaching, they just love to teach. And we're fortunate to have some really quality instructors that enjoy being out here and mixing in with the guys. So, we look forward to what, the next days look like with the staff that we have here, and, we'll just take it from there.
Can you give us a number on the guys that have been invited?
Is that staff, players, or?
Players.
Oh, players. Our mini camp, I don't know the exact size, just because we've had some players that were at the complex that are mixing in, to our group, but it's in the 60s.
Thank you.
Next question comes from Lamont. Go ahead, Lamont.
Who are a couple of the young pitchers? You mentioned a good mix of youngsters and vets there, but who are a couple of the young pitchers that you're kind of looking forward to taking a closer look at here at this mini camp?
Yeah, Sean Burke, kid out of University of Maryland that we drafted last year, had a nice start to his professional career last year. Jorge Vera, a Cuban signee that was at the Dominican DSL last year. We've got him over here stateside, getting to know him, getting him acclimated to, professional baseball and certainly the U.S. Andrew Dahlquist, Matt Thompson, Jared Kelly. These guys have really worked hard this offseason, spent a lot of time here in Arizona. Good to be around those guys. And really we've got a group of arms that we're just starting to get to know and looking forward to seeing what they're capable of doing, not just in this camp here, but for the upcoming season.
Next question comes from Daryl. Go ahead, Daryl.
Hey, Chris, how would you kind of give an overall assessment of the farm system as it stands now? Obviously, the rankings are where they used to be, and the reasons for that, we all understand. But what would you generally say, where the farm system stands right now, and its ability to be able to supplement the major league roster when needed?
Sure. I mean, the ultimate goal here is to, like you said, supplement our major league club. And we were, very, very fortunate to have players step up last year, whether it be Gavin Sheets, Jake Berger, Romy Gonzalez, obviously Andrew Vaughn, with perhaps a little bit higher profile, even Sebi Zavala and Zach Collins, Ryan Burr, Yermín Mercedes, guys that not all those guys were, high profile. And I say high profile in the sense of, top of these rankings, but they certainly were able to contribute to our major league club with the injuries that we had, with the adversity that we were faced with. And that's the ultimate goal when you're, managing the minor league system, is to be able to provide players for your major league club when a need arises, but also, perhaps making trades to strengthen your major league club or strengthen the organization, with the Connor Pilkingtons and the Bailey Horns, guys, once again, that weren't at the top of the list, but certainly helped our major league club as we went on to win a division title. So, the system is a little bit different than perhaps it was in the past couple of years, but we've got some really young talent that have some ceiling, and the expectations don't change. The standards don't change in regards to how we teach the game and the demands that we put on our players. We believe in our development process. I believe in our instructors. And, with these young players coming off of a year that they didn't play in 2020, or at least most of them, last year was about getting out and playing baseball. But I'm very confident, with this young crew that we have, that we believe in, whether it be international signings or guys that we drafted in 2021, are going to, start getting the attention to perhaps, change our standings. But that really isn't the focus at all. It's getting these guys out, certainly want to reach their potential, but supplementing our major league club the best that we can.
Next question comes from James. Go ahead, James.
For like Jared Kelly and Jorge Vera, Jared with the injuries and working in shorter stints, and Vera kind of also working in short inning stints. What do you kind of see for them this year in terms of what they can get up to workload wise? Is something like where Thompson and Dahlquist got around 70, 80 innings last year? Is that a decent primer for what those guys can do, or is it kind of more dependent on how they fare individually?
Yeah, I mean, everyone certainly needs to be treated differently based on prior workloads, their build up. But yeah, the goal would be, I think, similar to the players that you listed. Jared and Jorge have been in Arizona here for some time, and we want to, build them up and put them in a position to have, so they can look back and feel good about the seasons that they have. So really, it's about how, taking care of spring training, and then we'll tackle the season when we get there. We do have, goals for those guys, and they have goals for themselves. But really, it's about, getting the work in on a daily basis, and then we'll reflect back and on the work that they were put in terms of innings, and then build upon that in years after that.
I feel like start of the season, at least last year in Kannapolis, struggled a bit offensively for reasons that make sense. One, there was a layoff of no minor league season. Also, some guys had to be a bit more aggressive without the rookie level affiliate in Great Falls. Was there anything you kind of take from that? Were there any kind of lessons of that last year, and how do those maybe apply to handling guys like Montgomery or Wes Kaale, who played in complex league, last year, possibly making the jump to A-ball this year?
No, you hit the nail on the head on a lot of the things that you said. I mean, those players last year had to just get out and get at bats and get innings. after not playing in 2020. That Kannapolis team was one of the youngest teams, one of the youngest affiliated teams in baseball, and certainly they showed that at times. But going through what they did, I think is only going to help them in the future. When we're talking about setting that team up for this year, we've got players that certainly would prefer to be there than in the complex. You want to balance those teams to be as competitive as possible, understanding that those players are going to need some time to develop. I think the quality of defense is something that is going to be focused on when putting together those teams, just to make the games as crisp as possible. And based on the personnel that we have, I think we're going to be able to do that.
Next question comes from Scott Merkin again. Go ahead, Scott.
Hey, Chris, Tony had a lot of praise for Carlos Perez last year when he was in big league camp with the White Sox. Where do you kind of see his skill set right now, and how close is he towards, kind of that major league goal? What does he need to improve on? What do you like that he does already?
Yeah, Carlos, he turned some heads in major league camp last year. I know Jerry Narin and certainly Tony, they really fell in love with him, which was great for Carlos. And Carlos went out and kind of took that admiration, gave him a little bit of confidence, and had a solid season at AA. He does things fairly effortlessly, or at least it appears that way. He's got catch and throw skills. He can shut down a running game. You look at how he did that in AA, and he was towards the top of the league on the catching front. He's got bat to ball skills. Certainly can put the ball in play. He's got some power. We're just going to continue to grow his game in all areas. I think he's certainly nearing the point where he can compete for a major league spot. We believe that as an organization, and he's in camp right now, he's in very good shape, and he's showing the skills that we've seen in the past. And it's a good opportunity for him to spend more time with our major league staff, but also continue to refine his craft, and hopefully that puts him in position for success this season.
Next question comes from Lamont. Go ahead, Lamont.
You mentioned international signings. Is Oscar one of the guys that's in camp, and just what do you want to see out of him as well?
Yeah, Oscar's on his way. He'll be here shortly. He'll be here in the next week. He's been at our academy with our staff and our other players that are there. Based on the feedback that I've received from our staff down there, that he's a talented kid. He's got some confidence about him, can handle the bat. He's got some power, good instincts for the game. But really, when he gets over here, I want him just to be comfortable. He hasn't gone through a season in professional baseball, or certainly with the White Sox. So I want him to blend in with his teammates, get to know the staff, understand what we're about as an organization, really drill in the identity of our organization with Oscar. But I look forward to adding him to the mix. And, I think he's going to have a very good season based on the reports that I've received so far.
Next question comes from Vinny Duber. Go ahead, Vinny.
Hey, Chris, how are you?
Good, Vinny.
Hey, I just wanted to ask, Wes Kaale was mentioned earlier, but how has he specifically kind of looked to you in the early going of his career, and what kind of expectations do you have for him moving forward?
Yeah, Wes has been working very hard this offseason, spent a lot of time, with our staff here, working on building strength to the frame. Wes has got a sweet stroke. Fairly effortless. There's a lot of ease to the operation in his game, and he uses the entire field. I just watched his batting practice earlier. He's driving balls out of the ballpark on the opposite side, backspinning balls. He's got a feel for hitting. He's left-handed, and he's got some power potential, but we really like the bat as well from a hit tool standpoint. Defensively, he's got a strong arm. He played shortstop in high school. You know, he's a pretty good athlete for the size that he is. We think he's going to be a third baseman in the big leagues. But I also enjoy, you know, I enjoy watching him take ground balls at shortstop and second. You know, he's just that type of athlete. So look forward to, you know, watching him go about his business. He's a pro for as young as he is. He's got some real disciplines about him. He was raised well. So he mixes in well with his teammates. He's got some leadership qualities, and it'll be fun to see Colson and Wes on the same side of the infield.
Like we got a couple more questions. Go ahead, Bruce.
Just for a clarification, Chris, the 60 or so guys that are in now, they're going to stay straight through early March when minor league camp opens, or will this mini camp end, and will there be an in-between period between minor league camp opening and these guys continuing to play?
Yeah, there'll be a continuation. We'll just add to the group as March comes. Yeah, so these guys more or less are getting a bit of a head start. We've got some starting pitchers here and some other players that we feel like would really benefit by getting out to Arizona at this point. But yeah, they'll remain here up until, you know, opening day, and, you know, head to their affiliates if that's where their assignments are.
And our last question comes from James. Go ahead, James.
To close it on something really nerdy, you guys had the announcement of hiring the new biomechanical analysis, CJ Gerhardt, and the player development staff. Was there kind of more at this point about where you're seeing the evolution of that department and what you guys think is going to go with it?
Yeah, we're excited to have CJ and his skill set. You know, that's a big piece to, you know, not only player development, but just our organization in general. You know, we've got the technological side, the analytics side, that certainly works its way in all areas of the game. And to have that kind of engine drive all areas of the organization is very important, and getting the personnel to do that is vital. So CJ is going to be a big part of that. We've got some others that are going to be helping on that front. So yeah, I mean, it almost at this point, it goes without saying that's an essential piece to baseball and maximizing the potential of our athletes. It's something we've been doing for the last couple of years. We've learned a tremendous amount about what athletes can do, what baseball players can do in regards to creating power and strength, and having their bodies move efficiently. And certainly the hope is to not only be you know, powerful performers, but can remain healthy, you know, within the challenges of the game.
Thanks, Chris. Really appreciate you taking the time to talk with the media today.
You got it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks for everyone for joining, and we'll have all the recordings posted soon. And that's it. We'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks.
Y que lo que para mí está el manjado de este lado activo con la máquina deportiva, mi hermano personal, la gente dura, la máquina deportiva.